Well, joining me today is Karen Beckencort, CEO of Vanguard Medical. Karen, it's great to see you once again. Welcome.
Thank you, Russell.
I think it's been about a year or so since you were with Supply Chain Brain at another event.
Yes.
Good to see you once again. Karen, for the benefit of anybody out there who may not be entirely familiar with the company, with Vanguard Medical, give us a little idea just what the company does. What's its focus? Walk us through that.
Yeah, what we do is we bring cutting edge medical technology, whether that's something as simple as syringes or all the way to MRI, CT scanners, and we enable those to be distributed and installed within Central and South America. So in a region that is notoriously a little bit difficult to handle, and bringing critical, life-saving, cutting edge technology to the population in Central and South America, because we believe that everyone should have access to the very best medical care.
Well, you know, I would like to delve into that business about it might being a little bit challenging in Latin America
Yeah.
in just a moment or two, but typically then, who is it that's going to be utilizing the products that you're talking about? Would it be, I don't know, athletes, or is it only products that doctors would be procuring, or what?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and it really is medical professionals and hospitals. As you can imagine, a hospital in Honduras is not buying an MRI every single year. They don't know how to get that there, and we provide that service in partnership with either the manufacturer or the purchasing entity to be able to do that, so that you can bring that, because the important part of medical supplies is that they're close to the population. You shouldn't have to travel 200 kilometers to be able to get medical care, and this enables the support to bring the tools and technology necessary so you have close by hospital care.
It's interesting, you mentioned manufacturer. You are not involved in that aspect of
No,
these
we are
products.
moving things for people, yes.
And throughout Latin America, or is this predominantly 2 or 3 countries? I mean, what is your footprint?
Yeah, we are in 9 countries, so predominantly Central America, although we do some injection into Colombia of radiological pharmaceuticals, into Costa Rica as well, and as small as Puerto Rico or Dominicana, but as large as starting to enter the Colombian market.
Well, talk to me about what kind of challenge you may find in distributing these products throughout to those areas in Latin America. What's the logistics or supply chain challenge that you might have to overcome?
Well, it really depends on the lead time of the product that you're talking about and whether it makes sense to have landed inventory very close to it. So when you're talking about something that is 3 metric tons, you don't have a lot of those. You might not even have one in the region. So it's specialized carriers, specialized tools to be able to do that in partnership with construction companies. Or as simple as hemodialysis kits, which are being delivered multiple times a week and are ready and available for customers there. So it's really partnering the delivery and the warehousing to tailor to the particular needs of the clientele.
I'm kind of curious about where you source the products.
Yes.
Like, for instance, how many, if any, are actually manufactured in the countries that you serve?
So hemodialysis kits or light assembly is traditionally done in Central and South America, and Mexico does quite a bit of that. But we are predominantly dealing with Asian sourced or European sourced products, which is why being close to the Panama Canal is beneficial for us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm curious about the customs situation. Is that something that from time to time might be a challenge for you?
From time to time, I would say probably an hourly struggle, depending on what you're talking about. It's a space where we need a lot more innovation, but there's a lot of disjointed players. And so when you're talking about countries that typically like paper, having something stamped by a receiving clerk and taking that back, that adds some complexity that, coming from the United States, I was not anticipating quite as much. Yeah.
Karen, as the chief executive, talk to us about your vision for the company itself. Where do you see it going? What kind of expansion do you hope to see? Walk us through that.
Oh, that is a great question. So what I would say, I think there's 2 pieces. One is we want to stabilize, we want to simplify, and we want to digitize. So that is, my operation particularly there. And we want to make it easier to be able to access this region. And so we will expand to wherever makes sense, where there is a beneficial number of customers. But the reality is that sometimes when you're dealing in a multi-jurisdictional environment like that, multi-company or multi-countries, you are dealing with so much complexity that it doesn't always make sense to expand. So you need to retrench, you need to take a look at that and make sure that you and your customers have a solid 3 to 5 year plan. And at times in the last 5 years, I think all of us would have been excited to have a 3 to 5 week plan.
Oh, yes. Very interesting perspective there. Now let me ask you this, a little bit more of a personal, professional kind of
Sure.
question here. What is it that you bring to this job? Because you've been involved in supply chain for a number of years, so
Yes.
talk to us about your experience. Where else have you worked? What have you done? What are you bringing to Vanguard Medical?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And what I would say is I have an extraordinary amount of experience at both large retailers, but also large e-commerce and scaling. So either when you need to scale up or scale down. So I've worked everywhere from Target, Walmart, Amazon, so big companies. And what I brought to Vanguard is that large experience with having to do many, many things and having to scale, but bringing it down and being closer to the operation. It's been an extraordinary challenge and opportunity to be able to take those life lessons that you learn from operating in a very sophisticated supply chain, and then look to say, hey, how can we take those learnings and bring them to the people who need them the most? Because Walmart has been phenomenal at supply chain, Amazon is constantly innovating. Those lessons are absolutely open and necessary to bring to the small to medium businesses.
You know, this harks back to the question that I asked about expansion, where you see.
Yes.
And you talked about, you know, sometimes you grow too fast or you grow too big, and so it's kind of take a step and maybe it's a step back and it's this and that. And all of the experiences that you've had working with other companies, presumably based, I guess, in the United States.
Mostly, yeah.
You're bringing to this operation.
Oh, absolutely. And the key component that I would always say, especially as a CEO, being C-suite, you need to communicate. So one of the things that people always complain, large companies, it's so hard to communicate. Well, spoiler alert, it's not much easier to communicate effectively in a smaller company, but it's even more important. And so bringing that and always letting everyone know what the priorities are, what's shifting, why it's shifting as much as possible, has been a key lesson that I've learned, that no matter the size of the company is very important.
Let me ask you this, and this is a personal question, but maybe we'll finish on this. Perhaps it's one thing to work for a Walmart or a Target or any of those types of retailers, you know, selling pillows and dog food and whatever it is. You are dealing with, in some instances, I would think, life-saving situations.
Yes.
At the very least, you are dealing with stuff that alleviates medical situations for people.
Yes.
Is that, for a supply chain professional like yourself, is that a fulfilling job?
Oh, without a doubt. There is nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you are the reason why people are able to do something. And in supply chain, nothing works on the stinking planet. Not even software works if there's not a dang supply chain. It is the critical component, and it's the most rewarding and chaotic and challenging space to be in. But it is an incredibly fulfilling career.
That is great to hear.
Yeah.
Karen, I'm so glad that you found time to speak with us here at
absolutely.
Manifest. You know, you are doing good work. Keep it up.
Thank you.
It's Karen Beckencort, Vanguard Medical, speaking with us today about her own vision in supply chain. Thanks for watching.